Hey book readers, it's Throwback Thursday, so grab your Cabbage Patch Kid and veg out as I serve up a mixtape of my 8 favorite books published in the totally tubular 80s. They're bad. And by bad, I mean good. Fevre Dream from 1982 by George R.R. Martin. If Mark Twain were alive today, he'd probably wish that he would have written this book featuring steamboats, the Mississippi River, and vampires. Here's the long and short of it. Joshua York is a young vampire who doesn't want to hurt people. He teams up with a human sidekick named Captain Abner Marsh aboard a steamship named the Fevre Dream to create the fastest and bestest boat on the mighty Mississippi. Then we're introduced to Damon Julian, an older, evil, vampiric foil to Joshua York, who views humans as nothing more than tasty treats. This old school versus new school power struggle is what drives a lot of the book. The two understated vampires serve as excellent main characters you'll come to love and hate. And by understated, I mean they aren't the over-the-top versions of the blood-sucking creatures you see in some books, movies, and shows. Bottom line, Martin makes it kind of believable that there are vampires interested in living the boat life. Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry from 1985. This Pulitzer Prize-winning Western is about a group from a small Texas town who, based on a tip from a friend, decide to drive cattle all the way up to Montana. And the characters in this book are unmatched. They're so good. And the stars of the show are undoubtedly the talkative Augustus Gus McCrae and the measured Woodrow Call, two former Texas Rangers who are getting up there in years. They form the backbone of this buddy dramedy, with Gus serving as the funny man while Call plays the straight man, and it works beautifully. Almost immediately you feel like you're part of their gang, the Hat Creek Cattle Company, sharing in their problems and goals, both small and large, as they set off on their long cattle drive. Just be warned that it can get violent and graphic at times, with racism and sexism that match the setting. Even if you've never picked up a Western, if you can stomach its brutal moments, you'll love this epic, emotional tale. From 1986, Last of the Breed by Louis L'Amour. I read this a while back because it's my dad's favorite book. He's a die-hard, tried-and-true Louis L'Amour fan and has read over 100 of his books, which are mostly Westerns. So of course I went into this thinking that Last of the Breed would be a Western, only to discover that, surprise, it wasn't. U.S. Air Force Major Joe Mack is forced down in Russia sometime in the 1980s. Rather than be tortured and give away U.S. military secrets to the Ruskies, Joe Mack sets his mind on escaping his Soviet prison camp and trying to survive in the vast Siberian wilderness. He's 75% Sioux and has to tap into the skills of his Native American ancestors, many of which he learned as a kid, just to live long enough to escape back to America and outsmart those who are tracking him. It's a story of survival with a superhuman-like character whose abilities just so happen to line up well with what he's up against. Yes, some of the language and references feel dated, but aside from that, it's an entertaining book that fans of reality TV survival shows will definitely enjoy. Next up is Tuf Voyaging by George R.R. Martin from 1986. This is a collection of several short stories featuring the protagonist Haviland Tuf, a perceptive, eccentric, cat-loving character. Tuf is an unsuccessful interstellar salesman until he comes in possession of the Ark, an enormous spaceship loaded with amazing future tech and weapons that everyone else in the universe wants to own. He's a crew of 1, but he has the confidence of 1,000. Each short story presents Tuf with a different ecological challenge. He uses this unrivaled ship to solve the problems of planets and people through ecological engineering, meaning he grows plants and creatures that fix what seems unfixable. From 1987, Sphere by Michael Crichton. There's no getting around the fact that Crichton writes blockbuster novels that are ready-made for the movie screen. See Jurassic Park as the prime example. While Sphere couldn't replicate that level of success on the silver screen, even with the likes of Dustin Hoffman, Sharon Stone, and Samuel L. Jackson, the book is still an exhilarating read. The story is a psychological sci-fi thriller that follows a group of scientists as they explore a mysterious giant spaceship resting at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. And it's been there for a few hundred years. Inside it, they discover a strange sphere that can bring to life the crew's worries, desires, and wildest imaginings. It's a deep dive into human psychology, the fear of the unknown, and I guess how 3D shapes can be creepy in the right setting. Grass by Sherry S. Tepper from 1989. As humanity deals with a mysterious plague that's spreading from planet to planet, an Earthwoman is sent to the planet Grass to figure out why this world has been spared from the plague. and if grass, maybe, holds the secrets to a cure. This sci-fi novel features excellent world building with a complex society, rich history, and unique form of intelligent life. The end product is that, as a reader, you're thrust into a fascinating yet believable alien planet that takes time to understand because of its intricacies, but it's totally worth trying to understand. Next up is Hyperion by Dan Simmons, also from 1989. 7 characters, each with an amazing sci-fi story, have come to the planet Hyperion seeking answers. The mysterious time tombs, guarded by the deadly Shrike, hold the answers. The fascinating novellas that make up this book are all top-notch in their own right, but they're each also woven beautifully together to reveal more about the planet and the Shrike. At different times, it's poignant, terrifying, thought-provoking, and a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma. Last on my list is A Prayer for Owen Meany by John Irving from 1989. Owen Meany is one of my favorite literary characters of all time. Starting off as a tiny boy with a squeaky voice, he deals with some pretty heavy stuff, namely killing his best friend's mother by accident and feeling called by God to do something important. Because he's an odd duck physically and socially, Owen seemingly shouldn't be as wise, charming, funny, or determined as he is. Yet as the novel moves along and he ages, Owen somehow warps into the cool guy everyone wants to be, thanks to how self-assured he is. Digging into themes like friendship, patriotism, and faith, this book has remarkable depth to it. While parts of it feel like a buddy comedy, others get spiritual and heartbreaking. There you have it, 8 gnarly books from the 1980s that are absolutely choice. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Gotta bounce. Happy reading.